guys, happy Thursday morning. We are continuing with Chapter 12 today. As you know, Chapter 12 deals with the volume of different figures, and today we are going to look at the volume of a sphere. A sphere could be something like a bocce ball that my family likes to play. Could be maybe a soccer ball, which a lot of you like to play. Or it could be something as simple as a clementine. But how do you find the volume, the amount of space inside any of these? Well, let's get to the notes and find out, huh? Okay, so today our goal is to find the volume of a sphere, or if we know the volume, perhaps find some other measurements. So, first of all, a sphere is like a ball. It is all the points in space that are the same distance, that's the radius, the same distance from a given point, that's the center. You can see I have a nice example right here. This would be the center of the ball. And if you go any direction the same distance, whether you go out the back or whether you go up to the top, or as they did here, you go out to the side, if you go in any direction the same distance, you end up with a three-dimensional shape called a sphere, which is more commonly known as a ball, right? So a sphere is three-dimensional, where a circle is only two-dimensional. A circle is all the points in a plane that are the same distance from a given point. Right? A circle is more like just going in 2 dimensions, making a circle, instead of 3 dimensions, making a ball. Alright, all you really need to be successful here is to understand the formula. I do think the examples are really important, especially examples 2 and 3 here. But if you can use the formula, you can do these. And the formula for a sphere is the volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times the radius to the 3rd power, or the radius cubed, as we say. All right, I'm going to do 3 examples, which are all different, but I think especially the second and third one has something that will help you, and we will get started. So first up, example 1, it wants us to find the exact volume of the sphere at the left. It looks like a basketball. Include the units on your answer. All right, so for the exact, that means we leave pi in the answer. We don't change it into 3.14. So the exact volume would be 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Or in this example, that would be 4/3 times pi. Now, is this the radius? Now, the radius goes from the center to the edge. This is actually the diameter, right? So if the diameter is 12 going all the way across, the radius would be 6 then, right? So back in my formula, I would have 6 to the 3rd power. So the volume would equal 4/3 times pi, and I would do 6 to the 3rd power on my calculator, and get 216. And all I have left to do then is multiply the 2 numbers together, the 4/3 and the 216. Now, if your calculator does fractions, fine, type in 4/3 times 216. A way to do it without the fraction is to multiply by 4, then divide by 3. That'd be the same thing. You could do 216 times 4, get an answer, divide by 3, and that would be the same as doing 216 times 4/3. In either case, you should get 288, and you still have the pi on there. And since this is in inches, it is in cubic inches. And the volume of the basketball is 288 pi cubic inches. Now, if you want to approximate that, to approximate it, you go ahead and put 3.14 in for pi. And when you do that, I think you get about 904.3 cubic inches. It's pretty large, isn't it? All right, the second one. All right, in the second example, the difference is we were given the volume. We want to find the radius. So we still use the same formula, of course, 4/3 pi radius cubed. But this time, instead of substituting a value in for r, we are substituting a value in for v, the volume. So it would look like this, 7,234.56 equals 4/3 times 3.14 times the radius cubed. Notice I substituted 3.14 in for pi. To solve this now, I have two choices, but in my opinion, the best choice is to go ahead and multiply the 4/3 and the pi together. So we get 7,234.56 equals, and when I multiply 4/3 times 3.14, I get 4.186 repeating r cubed. Now, if I'm doing this, I go ahead and I leave this number, 4.186, repeating on my calculator. Because the next step is to divide both sides by that number. Which cancels it out over here, giving me r cubed. And if you don't know how to do this, it's a great thing to learn. But you type in 7,234.56. Let me show you, actually. I think I have one. I guess not. I thought I had a regular calculator, but I don't have one with me. So, you type in this number, hit divided by, and then you hit second, and you hit the negative sign, which is down at the bottom of your calculator. It's how you make a number negative. But hitting second and the negative sign gives you the previous answer that was on the calculator, which would be this number right here. So 7,234.56 divided by the previous answer, you get that by doing second negative. And when you do that, I think you get 1,728 exactly. And then the last thing you need to do is you need to get rid of the cube. And you get rid of the cube by taking the cube root of both sides. This is something we did earlier in the year. If you're not sure, you can ask me. And that gets rid of the cube on the r, so you just have the r by itself. And 1,728, if you take the cube root of that, you actually get 12. And so the radius of this sphere is 12. All right. Next up, this is a little bit different, so pay attention to this one. This is a similar question where we are trying to find the radius. But what you need to notice on this one is that when they gave you the volume, they left pi in the volume, which actually, in my opinion, makes this easier to solve. So when you go to find the radius, you're going to go to your typical equation, volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed, and you're going to substitute this amount in for the volume. So that would be 457 and 1/3 pi equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And now the nice thing about this is we can go ahead to start solving for the r. We can go ahead and divide both sides by pi to cancel out the pi on both sides. And we get 457 and 1/3 equals 4/3 r cubed. And now we just need to get rid of this 4/3. And to do that, we can divide both sides by 4/3. Or you could multiply both sides by 3/4. That would be the same thing, right? Dividing by 4/3 is the same as multiplying by 3/4, or 0.75. So this will cancel out that, and you'll have r cubed equals, and I think you get 343. And then the last thing you need to do again is get rid of the cube, and you would do that by taking the cube root of both sides. And that would give you the r by itself. And down here, the cube root of 343 is 7. So the radius here is 7. All right, I think that ought to take care of it. Good luck.